This panel is in the neighbourhood. This is a very special panel to my heart because it's all about community resources. As an independent artist in this day and age, you are required to wear so many different hats to achieve your creative vision. And there's so many cool community resources that are available to you to help achieve that creative vision. And one of those cool resources is knowledgeable people who are willing to help. And this panel fits the mold. We've got 4 very knowledgeable people who are willing to help. So let's go ahead and introduce them. I'm going to start with you, Gene. How you doing? It's a pleasure to have you here. Gene Rivers is a DJ, curator, arts programmer. Is there anything we're leaving off there?
Dad.
Hey, yes.
Most importantly.
Yeah, number one. Very cool. Tell us a little bit about Sounds of Tamaki. I want to get in depth into it, but you're running a really cool campaign for New Zealand Music Month called Sounds of Tamaki. Give us a little spiel.
Okay. Can I introduce myself?
Oh, yeah, please.
Ngā mihi ana koutou. Ko Gene Rivers tōku ingoa. Uri a hau no te tai tōkerau, no te moana nui ākiwa. Ko te aupauri, raua ko Ngapuhi no Waimalo, oku iwi. He mahi ana au, te kaunihira o Tāmaki Makaurau. My name is Gene Rivers. Thanks for inviting me up on here.
It's a pleasure to have you.
I whakapapa to the far north and to the village of Waimalo in Tonga. South Auckland, born and raised, father, DJ, and council guy.
Council guy. Yes, we're going to get into the council stuff. We'll actually run through the room and introduce everyone. I realised I didn't introduce myself. Kia ora, I'm Nick. I work at the New Zealand Music Commission as an administrator, and I also host the Friday Drive show on 95 BFM, Long Live BFM. And I write freelance about music, so it's a pleasure to be here with you all as well. Maggie, Cocco, kia ora. How are you doing, friend? I'll let you do your introduction because I'm sure you've got a nice, succinct one.
Do I? So my name is Maggie Cocco, as you can hear. I'm not from Aotearoa originally. I'm from the United States. I'm from Detroit, a big music city, and I had a pretty adventurous career in music in the States before I was here on tour when COVID happened, and I met someone and I fell in love. I know. And he's here. Hi, boo. And and then I was like, well, how do I make a living here in music? And I ended up moving into organizing events and kind of that bird's eye view of what's going on here as an outsider coming in and going, well, what can I do to kind of fill the gaps?
Kia ora. So where do you currently work as part of that mahi?
I work in a few spaces. So I contract with Creative Northland, doing some of this work. Tautoko to them for like bringing me on to do that. And we've got a new initiative called Henare, which is going to be a music community center that is council supported and Creative Northland supported and hopefully all of y'all supported up in Whangarei. Yeah.
Awesome. I just want to touch on Creative Northland quickly because your official title is pretty cool. Professional Support Advisor? Is that the official title? What does that mean? What's the work that Creative Northland does?
So Creative Northland has the impossible edict of supporting all of the arts for the region. All of them. Everything. And so recent new leadership in Creative Northland from a couple years ago decided we need to bring people in who are working in these different spaces because they're actually only like an 8-person team, so they can't possibly do all that work. So they wanted to bring in people from the community who are already doing these things. And so I think being Tauiwi coming in and going, where do I fit in? I was just having a lot of conversations with people trying to figure it out and was just in the right place at the right time to be able to go, well, here's what I've observed and what I'm trying to do. And yeah.
Being in the community, which is what this panel is all about. Sitting next to you is Dr. Jeremy Mayall. Kia ora. How are you doing?
Kia ora. Good to be here.
Yeah, CEO of Creative Waikato.
That's correct.
Quite a title. And the best beard in town.
Thank you. Yeah. I definitely identify as a beard grower.
Tell us a little bit about Creative Waikato.
Kia ora koutou, ko Jeremy Mayall tōku ingoa I whānau mahau kirikiriroa. Creative Waikato is a regional arts organisation, connected to Creative Northland and the other regional arts network of Aotearoa. And so we work throughout the Waikato region, so as far south as Taumaranui, as far north as Port Waikato, and from the coast of Kawhia and Raglan all the way up the Thames Coromandel Peninsula. So we work across 10 different district council boundaries and iwi boundary hapu, connected with arts organisations across all art forms, working with any kind of form of art, culture, or creativity. So it's a big mandate with a small team doing a range of mahi to build capability, provide mentoring and support, but also advocacy and research and insights around the role and impact of arts, culture and creativity on the well-being of people.
Awesome. I love the spiel. We're going to unpack that a little bit later into what that practically means, but I love it so much. And sitting next to you, of course, Henare ka, kia ora. Would you like to give yourself a little intro, Eho?
Kia ora whānau. Ko Henare ka tuku ingoa, ko kurangi te maunga ko waupu te awa, ko Ngāti Porou te iwi. Nō te whaere south, I'm from Ōtautahi Christchurch. I'm an artist. I am, like I was saying to the bro Jean before, I wear multiple hats in my mahi. I'm a full-time contractor in the music game. I contract myself to the best label on earth, 5am, up here in Auckland, and Axe Music in Australia. I contract myself to the Christchurch City Council. I'm a composer, arranger, a musical director, but most, apart from being a father, I'm a full-time session musician who gets the fortunate to travel around the globe playing music. But I'm the hype man for the Crusaders in the new stadium. So
that's so awesome, man. That's so awesome. Ooh. It's getting fiery up here. We didn't mention a Mayall award winner.
What's
yeah,
that?
Mayall
Scroll.
award winner. Yeah. Henare's band Illustrate won a massive award last year, which is awesome. Give it up one time for Illustrate, please. Kia ora. I'm so excited to get into this panel because I think community resources are so underutilized and they're so important. So I guess the first question I wanted to give to each of you is, what's one resource you wish artists utilized or knew about in your community? Yeah, firing them in straight away.
Is this going in order?
Yeah, you can go in order.
That's tough because I think in my role, the portfolio I have within Auckland Council, Arts and Culture, is I hold the music portfolio, and so I'm looking at the well-being of the music community, but also looking to provide arts engagement opportunities for audiences. So, like, I'm working with young musicians as young as like intermediate school, through to like artists that Audrey manages, organising shows with Moko Mokai and Phoebe Rings and such. So it's that the breadth is from the root to the fruit, right? So, and the needs are different. I think, and this is going to sound really cliche, but like if the roots are really strong, then you're going to bear righteous fruit. And so in that regard, if there was a priority around resources being available, it is to support the grassroots and schools. And one of the programs I help run is called Stand Up, Stand Out, which is a prolific, I guess it sits, for those that may not be aware of it, it sits alongside what RockQuest serves as, but it's a platform that started in South Auckland primarily for Māori and Pacific students from South Auckland, or young people. It wasn't a student-based thing at the moment, it was just young Māori and Pacific people from South Auckland who were starved of resource. And there are a lot of reasons why we won't go into, but I think what that now has positioned itself as 30 odd years later as a wonderful nursery for musicians from those communities, but not exclusive to, to industry. So, and the likes of, I think Arjuna Oaks has come through, Sokai Mala Mala, Simi Patelo, Sonotani Kalfusi, I think Elijah was here earlier. And these are a lot of these musicians are not necessarily the stars, but a lot of them are doing session work, but they're absolute guns. So, yeah, supporting and more resource for young people is essential, because ultimately that we're producing far more real righteous fruit at the end of that chain. So, and we do that. Like, we provide, like, this facilities like OMAC, which was started by students, advocated for by students of Hillary College nearly 40 years ago, for exactly that. So it's a recording studio, it's a teaching space, it's a learning space, and so forth. So I guess, yeah, it's a real tough question, and it's a good question off the bat. But I would say, if we look after the nursery, if the roots are strong, then, like, inevitably the fruit is sweet.
Tautoko that. For people who have left high school and are just starting their music careers, what's available with Auckland councils that they might be able to tap into? Seems they're a little bit too old for those programs?
Good question again. So part of what Stand Up, when I took on Stand Up, it was effectively running on the smell of an oil, like, literally. It had almost zero budget as a local government-led program. It's now working with a decent budget. We're about to do stuff, but what we've created is this alumni culture where it gives a sense of community to all of those that come through it. And we're talking musicians that come from, as far north as Whangapuro to far south as Tuako, and everywhere in between. And we're wanting to organically create the sense of community amongst the alumni culture to support themselves as a support network that they can lean on and work within and network through, because we can't handhold the whole way. That being said, part of this Music Month, we've initiated a program called Sounds of Tāmaki Makaurau, where we're activating various spots around the city, and primarily providing stages for young artists. Now, these are, some are in high school, some are recent leavers. So this is part of, I guess, that gap, as we're providing real-world performance opportunities, paid, because that's essential for young people to understand their value. And we also, as part of that, like, we're trying to build on it. Provide opportunities where they can also come and get work within council facilities, arts events, music festivals, music in parks and such. So it's by no means the finished thing, but the intention is to the forefront of our thinking.
If someone's sitting out here and they're loving the sound of this thing, but they didn't go through these programs as a youth, how would they be able to get involved with this kind of thing? Would it be reaching out to council, reaching out to you guys? How do they get into this and potentially get booked for a council gig?
I would like to say Auckland Council will help you in a lot of ways, but contact me. Auckland Council is such a big organisation, and its task was servicing the whole the whole of Tāmaki, and from all areas, from rainwater to infrastructure to. So I guess I came from this community of the music community. So it's in me for service to the community in which I serve, and this is what I think at the point of my role is, even though my boss might disagree. So yeah, young people, like, please reach out to me, and I will try. I'm only one person. Yeah, gene.rivers@aucklandcouncil.govt.nz, and I will try.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Gene. Maggie, for you, what's a community resource that you wish the young people emerging in your community knew about and used?
Organizations like Creative Northland or like 116 or these spaces where they're making an effort, and this is grassroots led, so it's hard to be visible, especially without tons of funding and all this kind of stuff. People are making an effort to be in front of you. Go talk to them. Talk to the change makers. Talk to the people who are doing things. Don't be afraid that you don't have enough to say or you don't have enough going on for you yet. It really is a community, and it really is the kind of thing where your perspective matters. So what you're coming to us and saying, I want to do this, but I don't know how. If I don't know how to answer that question off the bat, that's a cue for me, for mahi that I can be doing. So this is how these things build. Yeah.
So it's being unafraid to reach out in the first instance.
Yeah, you got to talk to people. You know, if even if you don't consider yourself particularly social, I'm an autistic woman. I'm always walking away from conversations going, I don't know if I did that right, but I do it. I do it anyway. And look at me.
Yeah. Awesome.
I'm here.
Awesome. Jeremy, you have such an awesome kaupapa at Creative Waikato. I was reading your website, and there's such a cool mission statement I just want to read out. Navigators who lead the elevation of creativity in our region and collaborate to provide opportunities for cultural well-being. That's such a beautiful kaupapa. For being that navigator and pushing people in the right direction, where would you push artists to look at in terms of resources in the community that they can access?
I definitely tautoko what Maggie said around, like, there are a bunch of organisations in every community. There's like youth spaces, rangatahi spaces, libraries, organisations like Creative Northland, Creative Waikato and others who are doing work, but they're usually small teams that will be really responsive if you reach out, but they may not know that you're there. So being proactive to reach out to them, like they're there to help, but unless if they see you, they're going to be helping a bunch of other people. So, like, don't wait to be tapped on the shoulder. Like, knock at the door. That's a big thing. But there's been a massive set of changes in like libraries and things recently, where they've got like more and more have maker spaces, or they have like keyboards you can hire, or little recording studios for podcasts, or like 3D printers, or like badge makers to make your own merch or whatever. Like, actually go, if you haven't been to the library for a while, like go and check out the library, because there's heaps of stuff there. And then also like if it's been a while since you've been at school, like schools have some of those resources as well. Like, become friends with the music teacher and go and hang out after or like help the next round of bands coming through, so that you can use the studio after school when it's closed. Like, there's so many different ways to kind of look at the resources that exist, that so much of them sit unused for many, many hours of the day.
Yeah, 100%. Those maker spaces are such a hack too. In our May book, we have an article titled "In the Neighbourhood," which talks about maker spaces. For those of you who are unaware, makerspace is basically what it says on the tin. It's a space that has different things, vinyl cutters, you can press t-shirts, you can make badges if you want band merch, and it's really cheap and cost effective, and the people there are willing to help you. And there's so many cool things for you to do there by yourself, DIY. From an artist perspective, Henare, what's a resource that you've used in Ototahi that you tap into that maybe fellow artists don't know about or aren't using?
The best thing about Christchurch at the moment, not just purely because of the stadium, but because of the earthquake, Christchurch has become adaptable to, an artist in Christchurch, in order to succeed down there, is you got to leverage and connect with as many people as you can. We have a very distorted reality with like how good we have it down there. You can be a full-time covers musician. I know friends that have, they live their entire life playing multiple venues. There's just an absurd amount of live opportunities on the cover side, but as an artist, a lot of the venues have all the equipment. They have the backline. Not drummers don't have to rock up with their own gear, and the venue hire is no more than $250 for most of these places. And yeah, I think more and more artists down there are asking the questions, to get in front of people and taking the opportunity. I think, like I'll total what everyone else has said is like what you said just before, Jeremy, about waiting to be tapped on the shoulder. It's like, as an independent artist, you've got to be the one tapping people on the shoulder, and trying to utilize everything you have in your arsenal to make the opportunity. And there is so much support for people down there. For example, we're about to run a tour around New Zealand with Frankie Venter and the awesome Where's Jai. And if you haven't seen that music video yet, please check it out. It's unreal. The Loons venue down there is a designation venue, but they supply absolutely everything for basically nothing, including someone who runs the door, security, all the in-house production. The only thing we have to supply is backline, which is, for anyone, as we all know, the cost of travel at the moment is out the gate. Yeah. So, like, we have, I was trying to count before, I reckon we have about 7 or 8 live active venues that will facilitate independent artists at bugger all price. So I hope, and not just that, the Christchurch City Council have the Tūranga Library that has multiple studios with all the gear, all the doors, and you can use it for free. You just have to book in a time. They have all the merch printing that is available, and they've just extended it to not just be for people that are at high school and for people just leaving. They've extended it to everyone, and it's free. And really awesomely, one of the people that helps run those studios is a globally renowned producer, and he's there all the time to offer his service. So, yeah, we got it good.
Awesome.
Can I, just as the other panelists were speaking, some things came to mind as very remiss of me to not mention it, but I think OMAC, the Aotearoa Music and Arts Centre, wonderful resource for young people to access. They got full PAs, backlines, recording studio, beat making studio. Like in the recording studio, super cheap. I mean, it is a community studio, but they got some great gear, and that's like $60 an hour. Te Oro out in GI where I just was is another arts facility where not just for music. They have a dance studio, theatre, some great staff there that and gear like full backlines and MPAs as well. So, and a couple of youth programs that I should mention as well that fell short in my spiel earlier. Meantime, which is based in the Button Factory up off K Road. They do work up in there to help young people be creative and whatever that is, and design come up with ideas and implement and deliver those ideas. And then there's the Navigators program, which is run by Te Karanga Trust, and Spewer and like Mallow Downs and North City Rizzy do a lot of work and help mentoring young MCs, DJs, producers as well. So, I mean, there's heaps out there. Again, just hit me up and I can help maybe connect dots for the young people in the room.
Most important resource of all is people who are willing to help. Henare, I'm going to come back to you quickly. You're quite a gregarious person. You're very friendly and warm. For people who aren't feeling, look at that smile. See what I'm saying? For people who don't feel too confident moving into these spaces, what advice would you give them in terms of how they should act or present themselves when moving into community spaces to make those connections?
I was thinking about this before. In 2022, when I had a child and decided I'd leave my very comfortable teaching job to pursue a full-time career in music, I realised how much sacrifice I was going to have to make, like how much money I spent that year on flying myself to Auckland. Someone would reach out to me and say, hey, can you play drums on this album? And I'd be like, yeah, I'm not in Auckland, but I'm not going to tell them that. I'm just going to fly up tomorrow and do it. But, you know, everyone around me is like, man, that must cost heaps. And I was like, well, it did cost heaps, but it put me in the room at Parachute to do the thing that I can do. And the next time I got asked, you know, I was flown up to do it. So I think I can't stress this as more than anything else. If you hesitate on trying to make a connection because it doesn't sit well with like an idea you have on your brand, like, it's just not the way to think. You've got to utilize every single opportunity. You've got to talk to anyone. I had a really awesome mentor, the late Aaron Tokona. He said to me at a gig once when we pulled into the Wellington Town Hall, he said, always talk to the parking warden like you would to the main promoter, because everyone here has a role and everyone here is better at something than the next person. And you don't know that unless you talk to people. Like, don't be judgmental. Always be curious in this game. You just got to ask questions. You never know who anyone is. Doesn't matter if 5 people show up to your show. One of those 5 people could be the person that tells the next 500 people to come. You know what I mean? You've got to leverage everything that you have in order to grow your artistry and to grow your self as a presence in the music game.
To talk all that. Jeremy, I wanted to talk some more about Creative Waikato as well. Are there any success stories from your guys' mahi in terms of projects that have put on for the community that really stand out to you or are precious and dear to you?
There's a range of things that we've been working on, some of which, a couple in particular. One is a program that we ran, which was a first of its kind pilot, essentially like an artist wage program where we had 10 artists working for a year in community funded to do that work to make accessible art making practices. So the program's called Whiria Te Tangata. So there were 10 artists paired with 10 mentors working in their communities for a year. And we made a documentary film about it. It's called Weaving the People. It's currently on the Radio New Zealand video platform. You can watch it and check it out. But along the way, we did a really in-depth research study around the impact that had on communities. And it was shifts like education outcomes, mental health outcomes. There's some shifts for participants taking part in the program feeling 40% more connected to their community, where like usually those kind of trends would shift like 4%. So it's quite a significant impact, and we really hope that serves as a model for the way that we could see the role of artists in our community. And for us, that was a program that sat across all art forms and across all community. We had 5 in Hamilton, 2 in Coromandel, 1 in Huntly, 1 in Tokoroa, and 1 in Port Waikato. We had theatre makers, musicians, recording artists, visual artists, poets. It was a whole kind of mix of things. It was really quite transformative in the impact that has. And then from that, we were able to leverage that to work with another local funder to develop a program called Aotearoa Ki Te Kāinga, or Creativity in the Neighbourhood, which was for artists working in community houses in underserved communities with whānau who were new to those areas in kāinga order social housing. And so it was a 6-month program for those 4 artists working with those tamariki and whānau, which included weekly art classes, monthly kind of festival days. They did a performance at Clarence Street Theatre in Hamilton there, with some guest artists performing, and all of the tamariki were on stage. They then did a full exhibition at the Waikato Museum, Te Whare Taonga o Waikato. Wrote and recorded a song and a music video, and we have a book of their artwork. And so it's a really powerful way of demonstrating what happens when you invest in the social and the soft infrastructure. What happens when you just pay people who are doing important work in community to do that work. And that is a really transformative driver of social cohesion, of community connection, of education, mental health, all of those things that governments want, that kind of systems want, the kind of the impact measures that people are looking for. And so all of that's there as a tool to help kind of inspire more of that in our communities.
Amazing mahi. The things that go on in our communities, especially in the regional communities, that we have no understanding or idea of. And I feel like it's all out there, right? Like, and available online to read, to see. It just requires you to put in the effort to kind of push yourself to go on and utilize those as well. And I think Creative Northland does some pretty cool stuff in that space too. I was looking through how the help that you offer as well, in terms of funding as well, and helping people write funding applications is one of the things that you offer?
Yeah, help people write funding applications. We've also got support for if you're doing a tour and you need posters up, but also you're not from the area, so you don't know where they should go. We help you with all of that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Talking about postering, there's pretty sure no longer allowed to poster free on the street in Auckland anymore. How do you recommend getting the word out about your gig in Tamaki Makaurau? From what does the council use as their avenues?
I would poster.
Yeah.
I would be as creative and as militant as I can about getting my brand out. And I just really quickly referenced Tom Scott as somebody who did that really to a genius level. And some of you may or may not remember that initial Homebrew album and how they marketed that. Like they were staging break-ins to set up pop-up stores, which really spoke to that audience. So I think be really creative about how you market yourself, really. And don't like, it's a thing, like, this is coming from the council person, right? And I might get my hand slapped because of it. But for me to do my job effectively, I ask for forgiveness, not permission. So there's some advice. Yeah. Tell them Gene said that. When they said you were fine. No, don't do that.
That's the producer tag. Tell them Gene said that. That's awesome, man. I love that so much. Gonna get us in trouble, Gene. I wanted to, I guess, talk a little bit about Te Kaha, Henare, if that's okay. Brand new, shiny stadium building. What's that like? What's the mahi you're doing there?
So I'm the hype man for the Crusaders. I don't know how I got it, but actually, no, I do know how I got it. This is talking about leveraging opportunities. I got into the whole idea of trying to purposely write music that fitted with sport, and being in a town that worships drum and bass, I thought I'd write a waiata reo Māori in the drum and bass form, and the Crusaders liked it. And on my way to the meeting, TVNZ rang me and said the Black Caps liked it. So I was like, I gave it to the Black Caps.
Oh.
Sorry, Crusaders. But when I got to the meeting with the Crusaders, I thought, well, that's one opportunity lost, but how do I leverage this one? So I said, I'm also a ginormous clown, so I can do that at the stadium. It's quite a conservative rugby crowd down in Christchurch. We're just used to winning all the time. So that's what I do. But the stadium is beautiful. It was so awesome being there on the first day when I watched a lady who would have been in her 60s, 70s walk through the membership door and start crying because, they've been been there, since before we lost the first one. But it's one of those things you could describe how it looks, but it's one of those things that you'll believe it when you see it. It's beautiful.
Man, Ototahi has it going on, eh? Love that place. Yes, indeed. Gene, I have a question I want to ask you personally. You're a DJ, and Mokatron once said to me that every good DJ is a massive nerd. And I'm wondering about the Auckland Council archive in terms of music. What's available for people to go and listen to out there? Is there an archive that you dig into personally?
Well, firstly, yeah, absolutely. Every DJ is a nerd, total nerd. We just happen to be music nerds that play music for other people that other people think is cool. But no, we're absolute nerds. There's a music archive at the Auckland Central Library. They actually just finished giving a whole lot of it away. And I missed out on that, and I was really filthy because they had a whole bunch of beautiful jazz records that I would have loved to have accessed. But they still have a bunch there. There's an amazing archive in there. And in fact, one of the projects I was dreaming up, trying to get funding to do was around accessing that archive and opening that up to local producers like Truant and Hasbeads and so forth, just documenting them going in, chopping the out of the library archive. But yes, there's a bunch in there, but get in there quick if you want to access it, because they're giving it out to free to public. A lot of, I think the Auckland University Jazz School took a lot of it. So it's publicly available through them, so hit them up.
No more Marjamal Trio in there?
No, well, I didn't even ask on titles because I would have cried.
Yeah.
I asked for some Coltrane and I said, well, yes, but Auckland Uni's got it, you have to go see them. So I would imagine there's a lot of everything in there, because apparently it was all old Marbeck stock that they purchased throughout the history of Marbeck's being in existence and the Auckland Library being in existence. So they had a treasure trove, which is, yeah.
Damn, sad to see you go. I'm just going to ask one more quick question before we throw to questions out in the crowd. What's one website people should be aware of in your community to be checking and looking at for opportunities as an artist? Yeah. You've been taking the brunt of it.
The Christchurch City Council.govt. I think that's the CCC. Yeah.
Awesome.
CreativeWaikato.co.nz.
Kia ora,
The collection of
yeah.
our resources on there is massive.
Yeah, it's an awesome website. Yeah. You can plug Creative Northland. That is pretty cool as well.
I do want to plug Creative Northland because it's doing some great stuff, but it's not holistic. There's no one place to go to right now. But if you reach out to any one of them, hopefully we're collaborating and doing enough resource sharing and communicating within each other that we can get you to where you need to go.
Cool. Love that.
Auckland Council doesn't have a website per se, and if it does, it's like too huge. So I would like for the people specifically in this audience, come at me, hit me up, and I will do my best to try and, like I said, connect those dots for people.
Tell them Jane sent you. Should we open up to some partai?
Hey guys, thanks so much. I filled my book out with heaps of resources and an email to spam. Thanks for that. I just want to do a little shout out for MPG, the Music Producers Guild. Similar to the managers one, they are supporting producers, and I think they've pivoted recently to not just producers but also people involved in the back end doing live things too. So I'd be remiss not to bring that up. But anyway, cheers guys.
Kia ora. Yes, indeed. There's so many cool places out there helping. Any other questions?
Don't be shy.
Is everyone exhausted after
Yeah,
a
fair
big
enough.
day? One more? Oh, good. I was hoping you were going to close us off. Trifecta?
Take one for the team, if you will. If people are keen on jumping in and helping out with any of your kaupapa, where do they go? What's the first port of call for that? In terms of wanting to volunteer for these kind of kaupapa that you're talking about, is there a particular contact, or is it just on the website? Or website.
Yeah, just jump in the DMs.
Yeah, bro, hit me up. There's a colleague I work with who I think he spoke on these panels last year by the name of Gavin Downey, and he's does a lot of great work in the industry and has got a massive heart for community and wants to help young people. So hit me or Gavin, and that's the same. He's at Auckland Council as well. So Gavin.Downey at aucklandcouncil.govt.nz. Tell him Gene sent you, and he'll slap me for it. But get at us.
That's awesome. I think that's a really positive note to wrap up on. Is just a reminder that these things exist. They're for you to use, but also for you to give back to when you can. So that's just, I think, something to take into it as well. We can give and we can receive and we can all share. Isn't it beautiful? Thank you all so much for joining me. Appreciate you.
Ngā mihi.